Hello guys, kaya San Veloso ulit ito at welcome sa episode 27 ng laro tayo ng Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. So tuloy natin itong game natin. Okay. Last episode, natapos na natin yung uninvited guests. Tapos kinausap tayo ni Kain Cheng na may information siya nakuha tungkol sa sa nakamaskarang kalaban natin. The boat heaves and pitches over the bay as your driver plows through the choppy waves to the drop-off point, leaving the Shangri-La restaurant far behind. Inside, restlessness fills the cabin. You've finished the job. The extraction was a success, and now your client awaits his prize, the Triad Red Pole Rooster. It wasn't easy. It should have been. It should have been. It would have been if that damned Talon hadn't mangled your plans with his visceral determination. But even a streets forged orc like the Talon could be stricken down. With the Talon dead, your escape from the restaurant to the getaway boat was made smoother. Well, as smooth as wading through a small army of triads and skirting the Hong Kong police force dragnet could be. Luckily, Rooster got through the pursuit unharmed, and with the Talon now permanently out of commission, you might earn a few extra niyang from your client. All in all, a good run. Okay, so ayan. So, gawin muna natin ito isa yung get some rest. Punta muna tayo dito sa natin, cabin. Meron ba akong item sa stash? Alam ko wala eh. Wala na oh. Okay. Pahinga muna. A stabbing pain in your stomach jolts you awake. Your entire abdomen is cramping up. You roll in your cot, wheeling the shooting pains that radiate from your stomach to go away. To go away. Your mouth is bone dry, and your tongue is swollen. It feels thick and inarticulate, like a useless slab of meat. A quick glance at your PDA tells you that it's 4 a.m. Outside of your cabin, the rest of Heyoy sleeps. All that you remember of the dream that you awoke from is a horrible, unfulfilled yearning, and a need to get where you were going first. Others were behind you. You could feel the heat of their breath on your neck. If you were to beat them to your destination, you could slam the door in their faces, keep them out and away from what was yours. But if they overtook you, you would feel that terrible longing forever. As you grasp at your last fleeting memories of the dream, a wave of exhaustion washes over you. It feels like you've been drugged. You collapse back into your cot and into a black, dreamless sleep. When you open your eyes again, the sun filters in under your door. It's morning. Morning na pero ang dilim pa rin. Okay, so nagawa natin yun. So, kausapin mo natin si kasama natin siya dun eh. Unahin natin si Duncan. You enter to find Wu stalking the floor silently. One hand held rigidly near his hip. The other flexing and unflexing again and again. When he notices you, he nods once and goes back to his caged panther routine. You're gonna wear a hole in the floor that way. What do you think about the last run? Sige, ito na. Who keeps pacing? Need something? Yeah, a drink. Looks like you could use one too. I need to know that you're not gonna go on a rampage soon. Are you going to be okay? So ito na lang. Invite natin siya. I hear Club 88 has two for ones between 4 and 6 o'clock, but you'll have to drink them both. I don't put drugs or alcohol into my body. Okay? What an amazing specimen you are. So pure, so manly. Any, anymore? Anymore, you mean. You don't put crap into your body anymore. I'm just gonna let that go. I take it you're stewing about Joseph Sang. Ito mo na. That's right. I'll own that. Anymore. I don't need my judgment impaired like that anymore. We both know what can happen when I drink. War freak din siguro siya pagka nalalasing. Been thinking about Josephine Sang. What she did to our family. What she did to Carter. His pace increases a bit and his tusks jut forward slightly. Josephine Sang. Goddamn Josephine Sang. And don't fixate on her, Woo. We'll find a way to get her, Duncan. Ito na lang muna. Good, because when we do, the old Duncan is coming out and play. Whose eyes smolder. Here's what we do. We walk into Tsang headquarters and ask for the boss. When she comes down, we grab her, take her somewhere quiet, and ask her why she had Carter and those runners killed. Find out what happened to Raymond, whether he's alive or dead. What happens next is up to her. Kidnap a member of the Hong Kong Executive Council while there's an APB out on us? I think the direct method would result in a quick death. Good thinking. Thanks. I'll consider it. Ito. Mas may point yun eh. It's bold. They'll never see it coming. This is the way to go. My way. Whoa, did you just say that? My way, Duncan? No. Now, where have I heard that before? Oh, ito na lang. Did you just say that? Yeah, what? There's only one way this'll go. He catches himself. Understanding appears in his eyes. Oh crap, that's what Ray used to say. Raymond Black, our benevolent dictator, no questioning his rules, no falling short of his expectations. It was his way or the wrong way. Or you'd get the full-on Ray treatment. Raymond could be pretty harsh when we didn't live up to his standards. You fell on the wrong side of his rules more than once. Ito na lang. I didn't care to be on the receiving end of that, and I was more than once, that's for sure. You remember what happened a few years ago, a few years after we moved out of the squat and into his house? The thing with Double Trey, the lockjaw, when he accused us of relapsing back into our old ways. Andali lang guys. Okay. Man, that was when Ray's authority finally got tested. His raspy baritone is tinged with satisfaction when I finally stood up to him. Ayan guys. Okay, continue. Hindi maganda yung simula ng ano ko ah. Yep, the way he handled that was part of the reason I eventually left. He just wouldn't listen. He could be pretty damn rigid. But then again, you both could be. He couldn't hear a word you were saying. I'd never seen him so angry. Dala lang. Tag dito, continuity. I thought that might have been part of it. But to be fair, I wasn't listening either. That was our problem, wasn't it? I would listen, he wouldn't listen. Then we butted heads. Rinse and repeat once every few weeks. He smiles, but it's filled with regret. But that time was the worst. Dahil lang guys. Okay, continue taka. Hindi maganda yung ano ko yung tipla ko ngayong umaga no eh. His face settles into an expression of resignation. Okay, Mr. Sohak. We don't need to do things my way. No need for us to butt heads. He stretches. You can hear his joints crack. And on that note, I'm gonna have to ask you to clear out. It's been another long day. I'm getting the feeling that they're all going to be long days. You think this is bad? Try person. Yeah, I hear you. Later, Duncan. Uh, Ito na lang. Yeah, I'm getting that feeling too. Anyway, have a good night, Azalev and Har. I'll catch you tomorrow. Teka, hindi pa kita natanong doon sa run eh. Teka. Dapat yata tinanong ko muna. Teka, ulitin natin yung sequence na. Teka lang. Kailangan ko i-reload. Tapos skip ko na lang kasi sa magbigay option na tungkol sa run. Dali lang guys. Umpisa pa lang medyo pangit na recording naman. Kung taga maintindihan bakit ang bagal nung ba't ang bagal nung ano eh nung load. Hey, a shifting amalgamation of old boats, tar-stained docks, and repurposed warehouses, all all lashed and bolted together into a unified whole. It's the last bastion of civilization before descending into the hellish tenement of Kowloon Walled City. Ulitin natin, teka. Skip ko na lang to. Yan, yung part na yan, skip ko na lang. Okay. Okay. Si Duncan naman. skip ko yung first part. Ito. Tanong natin kagad. What do you think about that last run? Actually, it wasn't bad. Reminded me a little of doing undercover work for the Star. We got to go to a fancy restaurant, do some legwork, blend in, and then take a bad son of a bitch into custody, and motor off in a speedboat. He smiles wistfully. Made me feel a little like Detective Dirk Chappell from Bounty Hawks. You ever watch that old show on the Tribe? Yeah, I saw a few episodes. It was overproduced crap, but it was fun. Didn't that get cancelled about a season in? Couldn't get into it. The model who played Mia Swade couldn't act her way out of a paper bag. Ito na lang. Option 2. The network didn't give it a chance. Kept airing the episodes out of order, and moving the time slot around. He shakes his head sadly. It should have had a longer run. Anyway, in all seriousness, it went about as well as I can imagine. And any run going. We got Talon out of the way, and that's good. Don't need a bad son of a bitch like that coming back after us later. I don't know, Asla. Doesn't always feel right taking people out like that, but it definitely feels like the smart thing to do. Anyway, enough about that. Need anything else? So ito. Skip ko na lang tong part na to, guys. Wag na yung drink. Tignan natin ibang response ka. Are you going to be okay? Ito na lang. Yep, just trying to maintain pacing helps. Pintingin ba? Ayan na, ito na. Ito mo na. Ito. What? My way? That's right. There's only one way this is going. He catches understanding of vision. Ay na, umulit na. Basta natin yung discussion sa kanya. So, si ano naman, si Gobet naman, tsaka si si Gobet na muna. Mamaya na si mamaya na si Gaichu. Teka, save ko lang. Hey again, what's up? How do you like life here on the Kraken? I'm having second thoughts about the new name for the ship, for the boat. Did any of the eto, ay mga ano na yan, di na kailangan yan eh. Any thoughts about that last run? I've never had the chance to go to Shangri-La before. Too ritzy for a little street rat like me. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that. All those stuffed shirts and fancy food are nice, but give me a cheap corner stall any day. I did pocket some of their silverware though, and a teapot. Okay, paano mo na ibulsa? The talon was a real piece of work. Glad to see that guy put in the ground. He made my skin crawl, like he was the kind of guy who tortured animals for fun. Even the 289s seemed a little scared of him. I doubt anybody's gonna shed tears over him for too long. So, what else did you want to chat about? Hindi na to. That's all I needed. Thanks, Gabat. No problem. Sweet dreams. Okay. Si, ano naman, Gaichu. Tapos kunin natin yung reward natin. So, next mission natin, ang kailangan kasama ko isa, si Isobel tsaka si Raptor. Tapos, kailangan ko pa na isa. Si Gaichu naman. Huwag natin pakialaman yung gamit niya. Save muna natin. Okay. The cabin is silent aside from the occasional swish of air as Gaichi steps through sword forms. He holds each stance for a few seconds, practicing a given swing a few times before switching to the next. Hello, Tank. A single bead of sweat rolls down Gaichu's temple as he holds his position. After a few moments, he shifts to a relaxed stance, starting the form again. Pardon me for continuing my exercises. I feel that I have been letting them slip of late. Don't you ever stop practicing? You worried you're getting rusty? No, that is not quite it. Rather, I wish to learn to bring my enhanced strength and speed to bear. In order to do so, I must ensure that my blindness does not hinder me. Perfection is a journey, not a destination. Gaichu lifts his sword, offering it edge first towards you. Do you see that edge? Forged by one of the finest swordsmiths in modern Japan. Diamond-coated edge, capable of cutting even the most hardened ceramic armors. But what good is a sharpened edge without the precision to apply it? May point ka dun. When I was still a man, I could have cut a single pea in half with my eyes closed. Oddly, after becoming blind, I cannot replicate this feat. Running the back of a claw along the blade's surface, Gaichu smiles thinly. I think soon I will be able to perform this feat again. I simply have to train my body to ignore the senses that it no longer has, and pay attention to the new ones. Now, what is it that you would like to discuss? Any thoughts about that last run? Gaichu snorts, teeth bared in amusement. It was a wonderful affair. I had not previously had a chance to go on a run like that. Descended on an elite restaurant, kidnapping a triad red pole, escaping by boat. What is there to be displeased about? Tama, exciting nga, kakaiba. I doubt the triads will shed tears, will shed any tears over Talon's death. He was a blunt instrument, a thug, easily replaced, and rarely mourned. We have done this city a service by killing him. It seems unlikely that the 289s will seek revenge, even if they wanted to, which I doubt. They are too weakened to attack us here. Is there anything else I can do for you? Has it been difficult to learn to fight fight while blind? Ata. Wag na muna sa unit. It is not the easiest thing I have attempted, but neither is it the hardest. Placing his sword off to one side, Gaichu turns to face you. Emptiness is form, is one of the great lessons of the Hagakure. Train sufficiently, and both swordsmanship and obedience will come instinctively. That is the closest to perfection a man can attain. I don't put a whole lot of stock in being obedient. Does that mean that in a perfect world, you would have killed yourself when you got infected? Ato lang muna. Gaichu feigns surprise. A lawless Shadowrunner have problems with authority? My goodness, I never would have guessed such a thing to be the case. When I was new to the unit, I thought that to be a good samurai was the ultimate goal. That to serve justly, with dedication, was the greatest honor a warrior could have. We were all young and foolish ones, I suppose. There's probably a place for that kind of obedience somewhere. That kind of ideology only serves the powerful. So what changed your mind? Ito na lang. Beyond my disease, there was a fight in Fukuoka. My former team ambushed me. It had a singular effect on my worldview. Ano, naikwento na niya sa atin yan. We were taught that we were superior to everyone. That since we were pure humans and Japanese, we would always win. I believe that most never questioned the validity of this claim, even when confronted with direct evidence to the contrary. Yung mentality nila parang mga ano, yun ang pinagbasihan ng Star Trek sa mga sa mga Klingon. Ano yun? Vikings tsaka mga Japanese. Tell me what when your old unit ambushed you. Sige, tutuloy natin. Very well. Gaichu draws his nails over his scalp, sighing. My time in Fukuoka was tense. Since leaving Keihanshin, I had been careful to stay out of sight, moving on foot or in the back of automated delivery vans. I was running out of food. However, I needed to be in a city for that. Fukuoka is just big enough to get lost in, but not so large that a ghoul sighting could go unnoticed. I hid in abandoned buildings and storm drainage systems, and for 2 weeks I managed to stay hidden. The strain of having to constantly move was wearing on me. However, I made a mistake. What happened? I had to get out of Japan, but all of my contacts in Fukuoka had come up empty-handed. When I asked for a way to China, I was running low on money, and I could feel the team catching up with me. A contact of mine in Kumamoto owed me a favor and arranged passage for me if I could reach the city in 48 hours. 2 days lang. Gaichu closes his eyes, resting his face in one palm. If I had taken my time, I could have made it to Kumamoto without incident. But I let caution slip when I got his email. I thought that if I disguised myself, I could take the train there. But get out before my unit got any closer to finding me. I still don't know what they I still don't know how they found me. Magical tracking perhaps? Or simply a well-developed spy network. Regardless, they found me. They were waiting for me at Hakata Station. It was an ambush. What did they do? That's a very public place for an ambush. That sounds dangerous. Ito na lang. It is. I suspect their orders were clear. However, do whatever it takes to kill me. Civilians expendable. For units like the Red Samurai, ordinary laws do not apply. The mission's success is the only concern. Papasaway. Mas malala pa kayo sa mga sa mga Shadowrunners eh. I had taken step to disguise myself as best as I could, relying on the sheer number of people to conceal my presence. I suspected that the team might attack while I was in public, but I did not realize just how expendable the civilians were. When they blew the C4 charges over the station's western entrance, just to box me in, I realized how much I had underestimated them. Napasaway. Civilian casualties. Ano ba yan? I assumed that the train had derailed, honestly. But then I smelled the telltale acrid vapor of the explosive. Gaichu wrinkles his nose at the memory. Once you smell it, you never forget. The plastic explosive that we used has a particularly sharp odor, like old cheese, something to do with an olfactory olfactory tagan pa yun? Paano mo pronunciation? Added to help track if it is stolen. I remember stumbling through the dust and debris, trying to find my way to the rail platforms. They attacked from all sides, using the confusion to strike at once. I could hear Ishida and Takagawa behind me. Aomori and Sasaki charged out of an access corridor, just ahead of where I had been standing. Sasaki threw a firewall down behind me, cutting off retreat while Aomori started firing. Sounds like you didn't have much choice but to defend yourself. That's a nasty situation to be caught in. Atatanga. Gaichu nods, lips pursed. Yes, that is so. Training took over. I knew I had to survive, and I was not thinking of anything but survival, so I charged Sasaki and Aomori. They were only 15 meters away from me. Away from me. The only advantage I had was that they were as blinded by the dust as I was, but I could still hear and smell them. Sasaki threw a lightning bolt at me, but I managed to roll under it. As I came up, Aomori's light machine gun was swiveling down. I felt time stretch out as I stared down the barrel. Andali lang guys. I continue. I caught Aomori in the throat. With the tip of my sword. It was a maneuver I'd practiced hundreds of times before. There was no resistance as I cut through his trachea, and he fell as I rolled to the side. I could hear him choking for breath as he dropped. Gaichu exhales a humorless laugh and shakes his head. It is strange to think how clear that memory is, even now. He was your friend. That kind of thing will stick with you. When the adrenaline is pumping, you form memories with more clarity. What's done is done. You survived. That's what matters. Ito naman na. Gaichu snorts, waving a hand dismissively. Spare me the Tunuyan psychiatry. Obviously, what you say is true, but the memory sticks with me so strongly for another reason. It was in that strike that I realized who I truly was. My whole time with the Red Samurai, I had focused on ensuring that I was worthy of the team. Everyone felt that way, but I felt it more more acutely than most. I have always wanted to be the best, the fastest, the most precise. In the Red Samurai, I felt that to be less than perfect would be to let the team down. We were always told how lucky we were to have been accepted into this unit. The moment my sword struck Aomori, I knew that I would survive the fight. They attacked me as they would an animal. They seemed to be counting on herding me into Takagawa and Ishida. Aomori didn't even try to get out of the way of my sword strike. I recall his eyes going wide. He looked surprised that I was using a weapon and not my claws. Eh kasi hindi pa naman siya fully transformed nun eh. They underestimated you. That's a fatal mistake. Ito na lang. Gaichu nodded sharply. They thought they were fighting a beast. I could never had underestimated them as they did me. All the lessons I taught them about close combat thrown out of the window as soon as their preconceptions entered the battlefield. Disgraceful. As I killed Aomori, I realized that it was not that I was unworthy of the Red Samurai, but that they were unworthy of me. May point ka dun. What did man, what did it mean that I an infected monster that was less than a beast could still defeat the finest soldiers in the world? Red Samurai doctrine taught Aomori and the others not to fear me, and this overconfidence would be their death. I realized I had progressed beyond their ability to understand. My sword was as accurate as ever, but they could not account for it due to ideological blindness. That's the danger of letting ideology overrule facts. You think becoming a ghoul made you a better warrior? Other units would have made that mistake. Other units wouldn't have made that mistake. You think becoming a ghoul made you a better warrior? Ayan, sige. Can you deny it? I could fight as well as when I was a man, but with eyes that had been opened to the hypocrisy of what Renraku had taught us. They taught us the lessons that made us useful tools. They do not want independent soldiers, but obedient ones. Sasaki was the next to fall. As I turned away from Aomori, I realized she must have seen me strike him. Her eyes were wide, and I could feel her fear and anger as she tried to summon another spell. She seemed caught between healing Aomori and attacking me. Gaichu taps himself on the forehead, just above his right eye. It was there on Sasaki, a downward stroke from Jodan's stance. She had hesitated, just as Aomori had. I felt the breath go out of her, like someone had deflated a tire. She just slid down into a pile. I think she was trying to ask me how when I ran. What about Ishida and Takagawa? Did you stay and fight? Did you stay and fight? Sige, ito na lang natin na. My goal was survival, not victory. Takagawa was too far away, and I did not see Ishida. I only smelled him, so I ran. The trains had been shut down due to the explosion, but as long as I could get out of Hakata Station, I knew I could escape. They did not follow me out into the city proper, from what I heard, via the Matrix. The event was reported as a terrorist attack that was thwarted by brave Renraku soldiers. Gaichu snorts, lips curling downward. Brave foolish soldiers. If you killed two of them, why are they still hunting you? What does perfecting yourself mean to you anyway? That's all I need. Ito naman na. Yung nakagad options eh. Gaichu does not answer immediately. He seems uneasy with the question, fidgeting with his fingers. I am unsure why that would make a difference. Can you explain what you are driving at? The unit's down 3 members. Why not give up on you? If you train with your unit so extensively, won't it be impossible won't it be impossible to replace the ones you killed? Ito na lang. I see. I think your mistake. I see. I think your mistake is in seeing this from a practical perspective. The problem is emotional, not mechanical. Folding his arms over his chest, Gaichu continues to explain. The nature of Red Samurai assignments is such that losses are generally zero or the entire team. In those rare cases, when Red Samurai teams suffer partial losses, the remnants of the impacted teams are shuffled together and undergo retraining. Sasaki and Aomori will undoubtedly be replaced. The problem is that I cannot be replaced. Simply put, I am not dead. Ordinarily, a missing Red Samurai would be considered dead for purposes of reorganizing teams, but Renraku knows precisely what has happened to me. What's more, my failure to do my duty reflects badly on the unit. Others will undoubtedly resist joining my former squad as it has been tainted. Ganon. That's a strange way to organize a military unit. So until they kill you, nobody wants to join their club. Now I see why they. Now I see why they won't stop hunting you. Ito na muna. Ito na lang. Exactly. Until they can remove the stain on their honor, they are unable to move forward. I have trapped them in the past, and they feel that the only recourse is to take my life. Gaichu spreads his hands helplessly. This is the trap of their duty. Pasaway na rules yan. They have hunted me in Japan, Shanghai, and Beijing, and now I am certain they hunt me here in Hong Kong. The cycle will continue endlessly for the foreseeable future. Such is the way of things. You sound as trapped in the past as they are. Wouldn't it be easier if you faced them down rather than run? That's an that's an awfully passive way of handling it. Tama, harapin mo na lang sila. How do you mean? I have faced them several times in the past, in Fukuoka, in Shanghai, unless you have a deeper meaning I am unaware of. I have already done as you suggest. You're capable of striking back at them. Why aren't more of them dead? You're simply letting them come after you. Take the fight to them. Tama ito. One way or another, this will end with either you or them dead. You've got to take action. Ito na lang. Gaichu pulls back as if you've zapped him. What do you suggest? That I hunt them down while they sleep and murder them in cold blood? If you're as good as you claim you should have been able to finish this by now. You define yourself by your opposition to your old life. I think sentimentality has left you unable to finish them off. No. Masyadong blunt to wag yan. Ano lang. Oh, of course, because combat is a binary. You are either capable of defeating all opponents or none of them. Gaichu sneers, baring his teeth in scorn. Rank foolishness. I have done my utmost to end their lives. In Fukuoka, you had a chance to finish them. You chose to run. You know their skills and training. You have the advantage over them. O tama. What you say is true. They can track me down, but I always have the advantage of knowing the terrain. I can, in a general way, set the terms of the engagement. Narrowing his eyes, Gaichu seems to consider this in earnest. Nice. So, habulin mo na sila? I seek to perfect myself, my skills, and my abilities in combat. Perhaps this is not the path I would have walked when I was younger, but I have been a soldier for so long that I cannot imagine devoting myself to any other trade. This does not mean I am tied inextricably to my unit. It simply means I am shaped by my history, as are we all. I appreciate your concern about my history and my unit, but I assure you, I am doing all right. I must learn to adapt to my new condition and lifestyle on my own. The time will come when they find me in Hong Kong. What does perfecting yourself mean to you anyway? So what will you do about your unit when they come looking for you in Hong Kong? Kasi dire-diretso nating mga tanong. Maganda naman yung mood niya eh. I am sure you have given me a great deal to consider, and I do not mean that lightly. There are several actions and possible outcomes I foresee. I could, as I have before, relocate to another city, free Hong, free Hong Kong, travel to somewhere further afield, Lagos perhaps, or Montreal. I would have to be some. It would have to be some place where Ranraku's influence was minimal, and where the unit's presence would be immediately noticeable. This has been my plan of action in the past. Ganun lang din yun, tatakas ka lang. Harapin mo na lang sila kasi. I could also keep a low profile, staying here. Hope but they are unable to find precisely where I am hiding. Undoubtedly, Ishida would command the team to keep looking. I believe it would only be a matter of time before they found me. But if it were a sufficiently long time, they might be recalled. Sabi nga sa'yo, harapin mo na lang sila eh. I could also confront them, draw them out into the open at a time and place of my choosing. They are nothing if not predictable in their efforts to follow Red Samurai operational doctrine. That plan could succeed, but it could also put you and civilians at risk, and I am unsure how I would draw them out in the first place. You need to find a way. You need to find a way to fight them. There's nothing wrong with hiding out. Bide your time and get out of Hong Kong after they get complacent. Ito na lang. You need to find a way to fight them. Gaichu says, shoulders slumping a little. I am unsure if that is the wisest course of action. I'm going to need to think about this a great deal. Please let me think on this. I will have an answer later. Okay. So, mukhang makukumbinsi natin siya na atakihin na lang yung mga dating kakampi niya. Okay, so patay na. Saka na natin kausapin tong iba. Hindi naman natin siya nakasama eh. Okay. First things first, save muna natin. Tapos, check tayo na Matrix. Okay. 13 minutes pa. Okay. Check natin yung natin. Mission computer. Your workstation and mission computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies you that you have 1 unread messages. You have mail. Auntie Cheng and Josephine. From Gabet to Tang. Subject, Auntie Cheng and Josephine. Hey Seattle, I think I can add a little context to the thing up between Auntie and Josephine Chang. You know the thing that makes Auntie hit the sauce and talk revenge? You know, the thing that makes Auntie hit the sauce and talk revenge. This a combo of stuff I heard and stuff I put together myself, so your mileage may vary. For years, the Yellow Lotus acted as tax collectors within the walled city. Since the walled city was built by Josephine Tsang and the Yellow Lotus was run by Auntie Chang, they must have had a working business relationship, for a while at least. From what Nightjar told me, he was her favorite. You got that right. Auntie was known as a real up-and-comer back then. She was on the fast track to be the next Yellow Lotus 438. That's a big deal, geek, Seattle. Money and power galore. Now you need to know that there were a lot of triads and corps doing business in the walled city. All sorts of stuff. Sometimes they work together nicely, and sometimes people get bloody. The way that I heard it, Auntie came up with some sort of grand plan to consolidate businesses in the world city. The power would be split between the Yellow Lotus and Sang's company, and everyone else would get cut out. If her plan worked, would rise in the Lotus like nobody's business, and Josephine Sang would make long bank. There was a catch though. In order for the plan to work, both women would need to jump through a lot of hoops. There'd be street level maneuvering and power plays on Auntie's side, and blackmail and negotiations on the corporate level from Josephine Sang. My info gets sketchier. From what I've placed together, Sang went behind Auntie's back and took her plan to her boss, a 438 named Wong Lun Fat. They cut kindly out of her own plan. Pasaway. Why'd Sang do that? My guess is that she saw Auntie as some sort of threat. People in the know say that Wong Lun Fat is weak and greedy. She can be manipulated if her palm remains well greased. Long story short, power was consolidated into the world city just like Auntie planned. Only she didn't wind up getting any of it. Her climb up the Lotus ladder came to an abrupt halt. She's still a straw sandal just like she was before Sang backstabbed her, and now she's stuck in Heyoy like a fly in amber. I'd be pissed too if it were me, Dapat. Okay, so yun pala yun. Meron silang nakaraan ni Josephine Sang. Kaya pala. Okay. Old messages. Wala tayong kailangan basahin dito. Okay. Jobs directory muna. Claim payment for Rooster Lost kidnapping. Kano reward natin. You submit the job as finished and await your client's response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. From Kindly Chang to Tang. The client is pleased with how you handled the situation. Rooster Law has been very contrite and forthcoming, due in no small part to the violence with which you handled the opposition. You've even earned a little extra for taking out the Talon. Your payment is attached, Kindly Cheng. Magkano kinuha natin? Check ko lang yung natin. Meron pa akong 171. Teka. Nakuha ko na ba yun? Nakuha ko na yung kailangan ko. So, pwede ko bumili ng weapon or armor if ever. Tapos, yan. Jobs directory. Marami pa tayong pending jobs. Notes and completed jobs. Okay. Okay. Shadowlands BBS naman. Shadowlands, okay. Claim payment for sold pay data. Claim payment for the Repulse Bay construction plans. Kano? 350. Winning bid 389. SPO fee 10%, 39. Okay. Kano na yung cash natin yan? 2K. So pwede ko bumili ng weapon check or armor. Or ayun nga pala, bibil pa ako na. Kulang nga pala ako ng ano. Kulang pa ako ng ano. Dito. Yung programs. Okay, post-pay data. May nakuha tayo. Attach data to escrow account. Data will be automatically sold to the highest bidder. Both parties will remain anonymous throughout the transaction. Okay. Check ko lang yung time guys. Teka, lapit na eh. Okay, malapit na nga. 5 minutes na lang. Post the Shangri-La guest reservation list. Posting successful. Posting will remain active for 2 days. Check natin yung BBS kung meron. Ang dami. Topics matching local keywords. Ito na. Looking for decker. Ito na lang muna. Fred, looking for decker. Looking for experienced decker for a discrete milk run on a low-level corporate lab. Potential for a longer-term arrangement. We're a team that's been together for years, running your basic heists and occasional transport gig. We've got a reliable fixer and long list of happy clients. Requirements: you must not take experimental steams during runs. Ayun, gumagamit nun. You must have a good sense of humor. Give me some Nuyen 888. Runs with scissors 2056. Weren't you just looking for a decker a little while back? I saw your ad, and I was wrapping up a one-time run with an old partner who's moved away. I'll be interested in meeting. Isn't Muffin Top Ninja your physical address? Muffin Top Ninja. Did someone call my name? Runs with Scissors 2056. Hey MTN, long time no beer. We gotta catch up, Sensei. Bring me on as your decker. I guess the kid who answered your last ad didn't work out. Muffin Top Ninja. That's an understatement. I think we can count on you to not consume any drugs during runs. Most specifically, drugs that were part of the payload. Fatal experimental drugs that were part of the payload. Ouch. Runs with scissors. That's not even a rookie error. It's just lack of common sense. A real shame. Anyway, I'm glad you're on board. On board runs. We're not going to have a problem with you. Okay. Muffin Top Ninja. Okay, no more posts. Balikan na lang natin to on next episode, guys. So, time na eh. So, exit muna tayo. Save natin. 3 topics pa eh. So, balikan na lang natin next episode. Tapos hanap tayo ng gear. Kung may kailangan ko pa ng kailangan ko pa ng program eh. Save natin. Teka lang mawala yun. Notification. Okay guys, Garrison Velosa signing off. Sa episode lang ulit.